May and I talked about it before, back when all of this first started early last year, it made sense for people to stay home, wear their face masks, do all of these things that they were supposed to do. But as time went on, people got sick of doing it. And you see, there are a lot of people out there who have become very, very lax in terms of stopping the spread. And a lot of people are going back into lockdown as a result. So here we are in 2021, and we're back to square two. Because I mean, we've already gone back to square one. We're like square two, square three, square four. So we're going to be in this for a while if people don't get their act together, and they're looking to this vaccine as a, as a get out of jail free card, literally, because they feel like if they get this vaccine, they'll be free to, live life as before. And you won't be able to do that. You still have to maintain social distancing. You still have to maintain, wearing your face mask, washing your hands, staying home as much as possible.
Be good to yourself, stay safe, wear your mask. Oh, sorry. That's what I also do. I still wear the masks. I have like 12. And I do two a day when I'm at work. So it just makes me feel better. I don't know if it's really all that necessary. I read that or heard on the news that they really like for you to change those out, the masks out every 8 hours. So, but I do like for every 4 hours. I'll do one in the morning, then I'll do one in the afternoon after lunch. And I still social distance. I go out as little as possible. I get some fresh air. Hi, May from unBasic Black with another unBasic Black conversation. So today I'm going to talk about my experience with the COVID vaccine. I did receive it, and I learned that I am fortunate to have received it because the states are having a lot of trouble getting those vaccines rolled out. It's not as the logistics did not pan out as well as they should have, so that the people who want to get vaccinated are able to.
Hey there, Angel with unBasic Black here. Today we are talking about the COVID-19 vaccine. So there have been a lot of issues surrounding the rollout of this vaccine in the United States. Issues with confusing requirements for individuals who are eligible for the vaccine, as well as individuals who want the vaccine but have no way of getting it. The vaccine was officially rolled out on December 18th of 2020, and so far it hasn't gone as smoothly as people would have hoped. I don't know why people are so surprised given our last administration, but it's kind of indicative to what we've been seeing for the last 4 years. Just chaos and disorganization. But rather than get into that and make it a video about that side of politics, we're really going to talk about the COVID-19 vaccine today. So, from what I saw, the vaccine was approved. Well, no, let me go back. The vaccine has not been approved by the FDA as of yet. So what the FDA did was issued an emergency use authorization. Emergency use authorization. There you go. So what that basically means is that there was enough evidence for the FDA to say that even though we haven't finished our process, it's likely that it's going to be a pretty good product. It's going to be good. So that's pretty much what it hasn't been approved, but it has been authorized for emergency use. Since we are in the middle of a pandemic, I would classify that as an emergency. So one of the things that I was looking at was some of the evidence that was presented. One of the things that I noted right off the back was the demographic they used to test the vaccine. They fast tracked the testing process, but they also did not have as many people as they normally would for a trial. So for this particular vaccine, I'm talking about Moderna in particular, there were about 30,000 individuals that were, sorry, there were about 30,000 individuals that was included in this study. But what got me was the demographic that they used, because they said that they were trying to find a pool of people that was reflective of the United States. That's not always a good thing, especially for people of color. But 79% were white, 20% were Hispanic or Latino, 9.7% were Black, 4.7% were Asian, and less than 3% were other. Now, what does other mean? I don't know, but I know that there were a lot of jokes floating around the internet, especially amongst Native Americans and Pacific Islanders, as to what that less than 3% other meant. So, is it a fair pool of individuals that were included in these trials? I'm not so sure. And the reason I say that is because we know that there are health issues that plague different races. And that's one of the reasons they ask you about your background when you go for checkups and things like that. Because if you're of African American descent, you are more likely to have sickle cell or sickle cell trait, for example. There are different things based off of your race that is a part of your medical history. So to not have a fair pool of people in a trial of any type is I think it's pretty dangerous. So 52.6% were male and 47.4% were female. Of those individuals, they looked at 22.3% of the people that were included in this study were individuals that had some sort of pre-existing condition like liver disease, heart disease, obesity, and things like that. Again, 22.3%. So Pfizer and Moderna had similar studies. So I was a bit concerned because I didn't feel that there were enough people included in this study, for one. So I had an opportunity to get the vaccine and I declined. I know, before you blow me up, I declined, and that medical reason was kind of my first thought for denying getting the vaccine, because I'm not so sure they dedicated enough time to the study in order to really say with as much certainty as they have that this vaccine is safe and that it works in fighting COVID. Because I don't think it even takes into consideration the mutations that we've been seeing in places like the UK and South Africa. So I think that they need to do some more homework. I feel like if they were submitting a thesis, that they would be inadequate right now. And you're talking about things that people are putting inside of their bodies. You still have to wear your face masks. You still have to exercise caution and social distancing and all of the things that we should be doing. So for me, that's how I choose to fight the spread. I know that there's been some negative connotation associated with individuals who did not want to get the vaccine, like we're not really doing our part to help society. But I don't think that's the case. For me in particular, I am a stickler for cleanliness, and I was that way before the virus. And it kind of surprised me that having to tell people to wash their hands was even a thing because Clorox wipes, I always Clorox wipe my groceries and doorknobs and, computer keyboards and phones and all of this stuff. I sanitize those things anyway, but even more so since the spread. So I want to make sure that we do as much as we can to help stop the spread. We want to do our part as well. Um, so when I went there, they asked a bunch of medical questions because I had to go and decide if I wanted to take the vaccine or not. So they ask you a lot of questions about, have you had any, fever and different things like that. Just to make sure that you don't have a fever or that you don't have any, pre-existing conditions. So there were a lot of people there, and from what I saw, it was about half and half for individuals who opted out of taking the vaccine and individuals who decided that they wanted to take the vaccine. So it was about half and half, and it was a group. When I went, I would say there was probably about 100 people. So I would say it was split about 50-50 individuals who went and said, yeah, now that I've heard the information, now that I know what the vaccine is all about in terms of the medical aspect, the truth, the science behind it, then people were able to make a more educated decision. So, and it was still split about 50-50 after that. So I think that individuals are just not sure. I think a lot of individuals like myself are just not sure. But then you have people on the other side of the aisle, and May will discuss more of her take on it because she did opt to take the vaccine, and she'll tell you a little bit more about it now.
I was able to procure my vaccinations through my employer. I work with children, so I have to. I thought it would be prudent to get the shot because I don't know where their parents have been. So what had happened was I went into the office and they were standing around, and my boss came and said that asked me if I wanted to take the COVID vaccine, and I had until I believe it was that afternoon to make up my mind whether or not I wanted to get it, and I hadn't because it rolled out because the vaccine was produced so quickly. I had some questions about it, and I had been keeping up with the news about the trials and all that kind of thing. I know they didn't test it on a whole bunch of people. There weren't millions of test subjects, but I think there was about 30,000 or so before they fast-tracked it through to the FDA fast-tracked it so that the vaccine can be released without having like an official FDA endorsement, but having kinda an FDA endorsement. So my biggest concern was really science fiction kind of stuff. Did they put nanites in it? And am I going to grow a I just remember I would say like a third tail. How many tails do I have? I have a tailbone. Am I gonna grow a tail? Are my ears gonna start pointing up? Am I gonna crave blood? Or live flesh? I hate zombie movies. So those were my concerns, and I didn't want to. And I was kind of skeptical about it, but because of the nature of my day job, I thought it'd be prudent to just go ahead and get it done, and hope that it works. So there's also a big concern about side effects. I am fortunate. There were some other people who got the shot the same day I did, and they had some side effects to where they had to miss work. I didn't have anything. I had said I hoped that something would happen so I wouldn't have to go to work. But nothing happened. The first shot went off without a hitch. It felt like a shot. It hurt. I don't like needles. So I looked away. They poked me. Actually, it was on this arm. I looked away. They poked me. And then I had to wait 15 minutes before I could go about the rest of my day. And then the second shot was the same thing. I looked away. They poked me. And that was it. My and I don't really know if you can call it a complaint. The people who had set up the vaccine station where I went, the initial time it was a little chaotic, and trying to find the place was chaotic because the facility where it was huge, and asking people where are the people getting the COVID shot, and like, oh, it's that way, and then you go down that corridor, and then you turn that way, and then when you get to the end, you're gonna look left, and you're gonna see this, take the right, and then you'll go further down that way, and then you turn back that way, and then go straight, and then out the door, and then around the corner, and underneath this, and then over that way. You should look to your right, and then you should see like trees. Look the other way, and that's where you gotta go. But we eventually found it, and we were able to get the shot. The second time, I had a clue where I was going, so I got there pretty quickly, and I was in and out in no time. Like I said, I had to do the 15-minute wait. So that was pretty much it, was the finding it. And then the line the first time was pretty long. The second time, not so bad. Also, the second shot was supposed to have the biggest side effects. I got none. Some coworkers did. I don't know. Maybe I'm just tough. But a few coworkers took time off, and one said that her arm hurt immediately at the injection site, and she stayed in pain the whole day. But once it died down, then there was just like a little ache from, because they poke you in the muscle, so there was a little ache there, but it wasn't bad. So far, there's no extra hair growing anywhere. I wish, because I'm balding right back there. So it'd be nice to have some extra hair back there, like my head, on my head, not anywhere else. I don't need any more hair anywhere else. Good. So no extra hair, no tails. As far as I know, there are no nanites in my system, but I don't know that any of the acronyms and initials need anything from me. So they can net at me all they want to. They're gonna be bored. Is this all she does? It's all I do. And just a little side note, I've had 2 COVID tests. The first one I got because I had a scare, a personal scare. I contracted a cold, and I was concerned that cold might be something else because it's in the early days and we were still learning a whole lot about it. So I just wanted to be sure that I was okay. And plus I was, like I said, I work with children, and then I was living with people. Yeah. So I didn't want to spread anything to them. So I self-quarantined, and I got the test done. Now, the first time I got this test done, I thought, all I could think of was Total Recall, when Arnold Schwarzenegger shoved that thing up his nose to get the probe, not probe, to get the tracker, out of his brain. So that's what it felt like this lady was doing. She took this Q-tip about that long, and I'm not exaggerating. It was a Q-tip about that long, and she went, and then she went further. I was like, and she pulled it out. It's like, I'm sorry, I got to do the other nostril. You skank! That was that experience. I was like, I don't know, never, ever. And then come to find out, like Seth Meyers and Stephen Colbert and all of them, they take the test like every 3 days. 3 days. The second time I did it, I had to have it done because I needed to have something else done, and they wouldn't do it unless I had the COVID test. So I was dreading it, but that test wasn't so bad. And this time it was more like a little bristle, a little brush, like a thin little. I don't have anything to show you that's an example of, but it's a really, really thin little thin brush, thin. And maybe it was about that long. And another lady, women, inflicting pain on other women. But it wasn't so bad. I was dreading it, but she was really nice, and the other lady was nice too. But it just seemed like she was trying to literally pick my brain. Second time, it was a little bristle brush, and she went up. She had to go up she had to go in deep, but it didn't feel so bad. And like a tickle, tickle, and then the other nostril, tickle, tickle. It wasn't so bad. And that's what happened. That's my COVID experience, and COVID vaccination experience, all of which not the end of the world kind of thing. So just be informed. So if you're thinking about getting the vaccination, just be informed about it. Make sure you read up and see if that's for you. Some jobs it's mandatory because of where you work. With my day job, it wasn't mandatory at the time, but I think it's going to end up becoming a part of employment because we got to be up to date on our shots anyway. So this vaccination is probably going to be one more thing that we have to make sure we have. So again, I was fortunate to be able to get it as easily and quickly as I did, because the rest of the country is having a hard time with the vaccinations. But fortunately, we have President Biden, and it just sounds so good to say. He's working it out so that we can, everybody, or most people can be vaccinated by the end of summer. So hopefully Congress don't fight him too much on that. It's a Democratic Congress, but Republicans still like to input their 8 cents. So we'll see how that goes. Hopefully he'll be able to accomplish that goal by that time. And
okay, so you've heard from both of us on our take regarding the vaccine. Some individuals have opted to take the vaccine and they want the vaccine to feel safer. For me, I opted not to take the vaccine because I just do not feel that there is enough information yet. You'll have to decide for yourself what's the right option. Make sure that when you're considering getting the COVID vaccine, that they are providing some sort of information to you. I know some places I've seen, they'll give you like a checklist and have you read through it, but that doesn't really answer a lot of questions. So make sure you do your homework as well. Do your due diligence and do what's best for you and your family. Stay safe out there. I'm Angel with unBasic Black, and we will see you next time.
And I believe that is all I have to share with you on this conversation. Please, if you've gotten the vaccination or you've had a COVID shot, COVID test, please tell us about your experience. We'd like to know. This is a conversation. We shouldn't be the only ones talking. Like, subscribe, comment. What are the other things that we're supposed to say? And all those other things we're supposed to say. Thank you again for watching. Thank you for watching. I am May with unBasic Black with another unBasic conversation about the COVID vaccine. Make sure that I'm not all up in people's faces. Hi, I'm Vera. What's your name? Is that your purse? Is that your purse? At any rate, all right, y'all take it easy, be good to yourselves, wear your mask, social distance, stay safe.